Watching SABC News Primetime now. The top story of the day, of course, has been rating agency Standards & Poor's has decided not to downgrade our credit rating, and we now have Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan, who's been holding on the line patiently for some time. Thank you very much indeed for your patience, Minister, and welcome to the program. Your first reaction to today's announcement by S&P, you were optimistic this whole week actually that you'd done enough not to get the downgrade.
Good evening, Peter, and good evening to your viewers. Yes, in South Africa, we are, I hope, optimistic by nature, and this is a tremendously good piece of news for all South Africans. Particularly, it's a reinforcement of the united way in which government, business, and labor has been approaching this issue and the issues of promoting growth and reform in our economy over the past few months. It's also a tribute to the senior leadership in the Treasury, the Reserve Bank, and business and trade union leaders and cabinet colleagues as well, who've all put in a tremendous combined effort to present ourselves in the best possible way so that all South Africans can benefit from these efforts.
Minister, what do you take out of this statement? What are the points that we should note from what S&P has said?
Well, firstly, that some of the commitments that we have made are the commitments that we are keeping. So, for example, we've said that we will try to manage expenditure and narrow our deficit, that is the difference between money that we collect in taxes and the money that we spend as government. And we've kept that promise, and we will do so further over the next 2 years as well. Secondly, we said that we will try to stabilize the energy situation. That has been stabilized. We must now, over the next 6 to 12 months, go beyond stabilizing and make sure that limits in our electricity supply do not act as a constraint on growth in South Africa. Third, we must indicate that there are new areas of growth and dynamism in our economy, notwithstanding the fact that we are in difficulty at the moment and below 1%. And there are several areas that are looking good, like tourism, like the oceans economy, like the area of research and development, where different ministers are working very hard on these projects. And at the same time, we must understand that certain other areas of the economy are in difficulty, like manufacturing and mining, and yet others, like agriculture, have huge potential to create new employment for South Africans as well. And we have also given indications that under the leadership of a committee chaired by the Deputy President, we're making progress in implementing the changes and reforms in the state-owned enterprises. And over the next few months, we will have to work harder at that and make sure concrete implementation actually takes place. Similarly, on the labor front, discussions between business and labor with government present have been making good progress as well. So I think S&P has taken note of all of those and the strength of our institutions, and are basically saying to us, we'll give you another 6 months. And if you continue along these lines and strengthen the implementation of your plans, then we can win another year to really accelerate economic growth and job creation in South Africa.
They did also say that they are concerned about the rise in political tensions in the country, particularly since after the former Finance Minister Nhlanhla was removed from office, and also the Constitutional Court judgment. Is this something that you're cognizant of, and how do you assure South Africans that we won't see these political tensions continuing? Because in December, as you say, we're going to have to face these guys again.
Well, in the first instance, we have to explain to the world at large and ratings agencies in particular that we have elections on the 3rd of August, and that leading up to elections, we're going to have what we call political noise of one kind or another. The second is that we hope that all political players will take note that politics and the manner in which we conduct our politics influences confidence both amongst South Africans and trust in public institutions amongst South Africans on the one hand, but also influences investors as well, and likewise ratings agencies. So we have a collective responsibility to have robust debates and exchanges as we would in a democracy, but at the same time be mindful of what this means for South Africa's reputation and modify our conduct accordingly. So, and by the way, politics is a feature now of the way ratings agencies and others look at any country in the world. And I don't think there's a single country without having some kind of political disruption or dimension to some of the challenges that they actually face at this point in time. But as South Africans, we must take responsibility for our own institutions, continue to strengthen them, and demonstrate to the world that we are a resilient country. And even though a 22-year-old young democracy, many of our institutions, like our courts, work with great efficiency, and that has been noticed by agencies like Moody's, for example.
So Fitch still has to make their decision, but given what's come out today, are you confident that they will follow the other agencies and give us a thumbs up?
As confident as one can be, but I mean, we've got 2 out of 3, Moody's and S&P so far, and let's hope Fitch moves in the same direction. But the message from all of them is as important, and that is, in the next 6 months, build on the momentum that we have developed, show us concrete results, and we will then win greater confidence both within the country, build more solidity and solidarity amongst the key role players in our society and country, and create the prospects for a much faster growing economy, but an economy that benefits all 55 million people. And that's our responsibility as South Africans.
So do you think in 6 months we can start to turn that corner and start to get the kind of growth that we require?
Yes, I think in government we have a firm commitment to move in that direction. And if we slacken, we need to push each other to move rapidly in the right kind of direction. And I'm sure that our partners in labor and in business will understand that we've got the first rewards of doing things in a collective way as evidenced before us. And let's now build on that and strengthen our positive side of our story as South Africans. And I'm optimistic that we could give it our best shot and have further achievements under our wings by the time we move into the next 3 or 4 months.
All right, and that's where we'll leave it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
For sharing your thoughts with us today. That was the Finance Minister sharing the good news, his reaction to the good news that Standard & Poor's followed Moody's and they've kept our current credit rating unchanged.